Hello and welcome to week 4, and more specifically welcome to the Making a Movie Clip, what is likely going to be 2 Making Movie Clip exercise videos here. This is a more extensive exercise, and as your week 4 your week 4 sheet states, this is sort of the culmination of a bunch of sort of more simple things that we've done up to this point. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to sort of start thinking about your project 1, which is going to be assigned next week. I'm introducing this idea of a movie clip, and I'm going to go into more depth into what a movie clip is as we head into it. But it's the last of our symbols, or sorry, it's the second of our symbols. The button being the last of our symbols that we'll get into later in this semester. But this is a more complex and more complicated way of thinking about animating. What we're basically going to be doing here is animating via a file called bird.jpg, which we're going to import here into the library. If you haven't already, you might want to pause this and download via D2L that bird.jpg image. Okay. Just a quick word, and I noted this on a couple of your exercises. Make sure you're handing in your .swifts. A few of you handed in your .fla files. On the exercises, that's not something I need, and that's not something I want in terms of handing stuff in. I want your Swift files. Remember, your Swift files are your sort of final outputted projects or exercises, and that's what I want to look at. I'll be looking at your .fla files if you have a problem later in the semester. So let's head into this making a movie clip, and just from knowing in the past, I think this is probably going to be 2 videos because it's a little more involved. So creating the movie clip. Step 1, open it up for ActionScript 3.0, and then we're going to go to step 4 here, import to library. So I'm going to go File, and we're going to import to library. Okay. And it's preparing to import. And I'm basically going to go find my bird.jpg image. Okay. Actually, I want to make sure I am in my current semester, spring 2014, bird.jpg. Now, before I head into the next step, I want to sort of talk about what I'm going to be doing with this video. We're basically going to be taking a JPEG image, and this JPEG image looks like this. It's basically a simple sort of 3-step version of a bird flying, and we're going to use it to sort of animate with. Okay, this could be something you could do, whether it's your own drawing, something you're tracing, something you're trying to sort of understand the movement of, and later I'm going to sort of talk about some potential places to find things like that later in the semester. So it says choose step 6, choose insert new symbol. Okay, so we're going to insert new symbol. This time, we're going to step 7, name it bird graphic, and make sure it's a graphic from the drop-down menu. And I know I just said we're making a movie clip, but we're going to sort of need in order to get to that movie clip. So I'm going to name it bird graphic, and I'm going to make sure it is a graphic. So I'm being very organized here. Okay. So I'm going to click OK. We pop into our library here, sort of our sketch pad to sort of get something done. Now, it says, step 8 here, make sure you're on the bird graphic, in the bird graphic, so I'm in bird graphic, and click and hold the bird JPEG in the library and dropping it down. So I'm just basically taking this image and putting it into the bird graphic. These 2 things being sort of steps towards getting our bird graphic, or sorry, our bird movie clip done. Okay. So we start with a JPEG, we end up with a graphic in Flash, and then we're going to end up with a movie clip. Okay. Now, it says with the the selection tool, the black arrow, click on it. So we have the blue bounding box. That basically just means it's selected. You'll see this sort of blue bounding box around it. And it says 10, choose modify bitmap trace bitmap. And I'm going to sort of talk about what this is. Modify bitmap trace bitmap. Okay. You're going to see these numbers come up. And this is step 11, the color threshold of 100 and a minimum area, and I'm going to change that to 8. Okay, what this is basically the step that is taking a raster-based graphic. You remember the raster-based graphic idea? A raster-based graphic is a Photoshop document or a JPEG or something like that that has pixels, square pixels, that are a particular color. What this is doing is basically turning a raster-based graphic, and it says trace, and it's turning it into a vector-based graphic. Flash is a vector-based program, so we want a vector-based graphic to work with. This is going to allow for quicker animations, and it's sort of more suitable for what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and you're probably not going to see too much happen. If you look closely, you might notice a sort of change in appearance right here. Now, in a second, I'm going to sort of show you what that change of appearance is. So it says click on the white background of the image to select it and hit the delete button. There is white pixels, and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to sort of do that right now. There are white pixels that were turned into vector-based graphics. And if I zoom in here, you'll see that these are no longer sort of pixels, but rather what would be considered more vector-based graphics. When something is white in Photoshop or even in here, it's still a color. Okay, so if I click on this to select that white area, I just hit delete. And now when I click there, no longer do I have that white area. These are basically just birds by themselves. Okay, we want to do that so that we can sort of hone in on these specific birds without having that clunky white space behind it. Okay, a white pixel is not clear, nor is a white area in a vector graphic. It's white, and if we don't want it, we got to get rid of it. So that's what I did. Okay. Now, this is basically sort of sectioning off these sort of steps of the bird. Okay. Next thing we need to do, and we're at step 14, we're going to choose Insert New Symbol, and we're going to basically finally make this movie clip. So I'm going to go choose Insert. And I'm going to name it Bird Movie Clip, staying organized. And from the drop-down menu, I'm going to make sure it is a movie clip. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. So we are at step 16. Go to the symbol Bird Graphic, and using the selection tool, separate the three birds from each other. Okay. So I'm going to go to my bird graphic, and you got to always pay attention to where you are. And I'm going to click, hold, and I'm going to draw around that portion of the bird. And I just want to sort of move him over to the left. I'm going to click, hold, move this guy over to the right. Okay, I'm just sort of separating these out so that I can use them a little more efficiently. Okay. Now, it says select the bird furthest to the left and choose Edit Copy. So I'm going to select him, and when I select him, I don't necessarily just want to click on these different portions. I'm just going to click and draw a little box around him so everything there is selected. And I'm going to choose Edit Copy. Okay. Now it says go to the symbol Bird Movie Clip. Okay, so I'm going to go to the symbol Bird Movie Clip. And it says choose Edit Paste in Center. Okay. Now, just as our step 19 says, this will create a keyframe in the first frame of the movie clip timeline. Okay. That's a very important thing, and I'll talk about that in a second. Position, it says step 20 here, position with the selection tool, the black arrow, the bird so the beak is right on the center hash mark. Okay, so I'm going to select all that again just by sort of clicking like that. And I want to sort of use this center hash mark as the sort of beginning of this bird in flight. Okay. Now, before I head into what is going to become sort of a copying and pasting marathon here, and you'll sort of see that as we head into steps 21 through 37 basically. A movie clip. A movie clip is basically a symbol in the library that has its own timeline. So you're going to see me sort of animating across this timeline. I am not in a scene. You'll see that I am in a symbol. And the way I like to think about it is basically that this bird is sort of a movie clip over in the library, just sort of statically flapping its wings. Okay, there are two different movements that we're going to end up doing with this. We have the bird flapping its wings, and then we have the bird moving from left or right to left. Those are two separate movements. The bird flapping its wings is going to happen in the movie clip. Okay. And then once we sort of put the bird flapping its wings inside a timeline, we're going to then move that bird left to right. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense, and this is really the main reason you're going to use a movie clip. Okay, so next thing, it says go to frame 3 in the timeline and insert a keyframe. Okay, so I'm going to go to frame 3. I'm going to control click. I'm going to insert a keyframe. Okay, this is basically going to add 3 frames of that bird at that stage in this timeline. Okay. Now it says go to frame 4 and insert a blank keyframe. You probably sort of see where we're headed with this. We're basically going to put the next step of that bird flying in there. Okay. So double click on the bird graphic in the library, and then we're going to select the middle. So I'm going to go back to this, select the middle version of this bird, and I'm going to choose edit copy. Then I go back to my bird movie clip and make sure I'm on the frame 4 where we just put that blank keyframe. So I'm right here, and I'm going to edit paste and center. Okay, paste and center doesn't exactly work all the time, but we're going to get that guy down there. Position with the selection tool. This is step 26. The bird, so the beak is right on the center mark. Now it says go to frame 6 and insert a keyframe. Okay. We're making sure that bird sort of stays over a period of time. Go to frame 7 and insert a blank keyframe. So we're just sort of repeating what we just did in those first steps. Double click on the bird graphic in the library and select the bird all the way to the right. I'm going to edit, copy him, go to the bird movie clip, make sure I'm on that frame that I just made that blank keyframe on, and I'm going to choose paste and center. And I'm going to move him so his beak is right there. Now it says go to frame 9 and insert a keyframe. And it says go to, now it says, this should make sense in terms of how a bird flies, but it says go to frame 10 and insert a keyframe. We basically have, and you can move your playhead back and forth here, we have the bird sort of wings up, wings middle, wings down. The next step in a bird flying is to go back to that middle step. Okay, so I'm going to go to frame 10. This is step 34, and I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. And then I'm going to go to frame 4. This is sort of the beginning of the middle portion of the wings, and I'm going to copy that frame. I'm going to go back to frame 10, and I'm going to go and paste that frame. Okay. Now I'm going to go up to frame 12, and I'm just going to insert a frame. Okay. Now, all that last step did, basically steps 34 through 37, was sort of make the middle portion the end of the movie. Now, if you know anything about Flash, is that it wants to go basically back to the beginning. So if I go wings up, wings middle, sorry, do that again, wings up, wings middle, wings down, wings back up, you should know that the next step is wings going back up. Okay. Now, I'm about to run out of time here, so I'm going to stop this video and sort of start up and sort of show this example of this movie clip, and then we're going to do the second half.